Welcome to Southern Australia. I think we got rain all this week apparently, but this is like, it was just misty and cloudy and everything like that, and drizzly just about all day, and it got worse coming up the mountains in the afternoon. Wednesday, last day of school for the kids. I still have to do one day at work, which I'll probably work on the timetable uninterrupted. My staff stayed back yesterday and did a training professional development session that we had organised, and I'd forgotten that I had my cortisone injections booked. They stayed back and did that to make up for tomorrow so they don't have to come into work. I went and got 2 cortisone injections in my back. Had my construction class yesterday and there was 7 of them at school working like crazy on their sawhorses. And then when they realised that that was their last lesson and it was technically due, but the whole cluster is due, and I said to them, look, it'll be okay. But they said, do you have any free periods tomorrow? Have a look at my timetable. And they looked over it, and period 1 they saw year 12, and they go, year 12's gone, so you don't have a class, can we come into class? If you don't have a class to go into or your teacher's happy for you to come out, that's fine. So period 1, they'll be coming in and working on their sawhorses. Period 2, I've got year 9, and I know that I've got kids coming today because one in particular, the one on the lathe, wants to finish things for Christmas. But from then on, for the day, is when we have our Christmas lunch type thing. Farewells to people who are leaving. We do a minimal supervision roster where everybody just rotates around and looks after the kids in 3 different locations. There's usually not that many kids at school. I usually end up working on the timetable because, well, this year I haven't had to make as many iterations to the timetable. Like, normally I'm up to about 15 different timetables by now. I'm only on 5. I still have to do the rooming, and that can make iterations happen. But we've also got a relieving head teacher coming in for science. When she saw the timetable that she'd be getting, said she wanted to swap classes with one of the other teachers, and those classes aren't on the same line. I swapped them over for them, and it just created clashes all over the place for those 2 staff. They're 2 senior classes. When they clash with juniors, I can't move juniors. There's only 2 classes I could possibly move. One's a year 7 class, that might be easy to move because they're on their own times, they're not in a block. If I try and move year 10, I will affect the whole school. If I try and move the year 11s, I will affect the whole school. If I just try and move those particular classes for those staff to an offline period, the kids will have more than 50% of their classes before or after school. And that's not fair. The new head teacher may be willing to say, well, I'll take morning and after school classes, which is fine, but trying to make your class take like 50% of their classes before or after school, I say to everybody, expect maybe 1, and that's accepted by everybody. If they have to have more than 1, it might be 2. In one case, there's a 3, and one teacher said, yes, I will take 3. But it's a year 12, and the kids are a little more accustomed to it, and they will come in and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, if there's going to be more than 1, I will talk to the teacher and their head teacher and say, this is the situation. I can split the class, or I can move your class somewhere else. And then the decision's okay. Perhaps with these science classes, because this teacher wants this particular subject, I might be able to say, rather than swapping the whole lot, how about you swap half the lot that will fit on your timetable? And I'm going to actually approach the boss about that as well. And say, we can split the class so they fit on the timetable where it automatically will fit on the timetable, and minimise complete disruption of the timetable. And I think if you're going to share a subject that both of your staff have the qualification to teach, like you and the other staff member, split it, it's fine. It's not like I'm going to go giving that class to another teacher. Sorry you have to listen to this bit. This is just me thinking my thoughts out loud, because then if I hear what I'm saying rather than just thinking what I'm saying, they will sometimes make a little bit more sense to me, and I can think about things. And I'm actually picturing their timetable because I looked at it yesterday. I'm picturing where some of those clashes are and thinking, well, this will work, this will work. So in about 30 seconds, I've got to stop and fill up the truck with diesel because my little
fuel light has come on. I don't want to leave it till after work because I might forget. And then I'll miss this gas station down here, which has the best prices I get for diesel. $1.10 per litre. The road was $1.24 and it was $1.25 up the mountain. I'll talk to you later. Well, it was the last day of school. I'd given my year 11s an extra class. Year 9 today, I only had 3 students. 2 of them, one was meant to do the upholstery for his top, but he forgot to bring a shirt in. So we said, look, they can wait till next year. You can do it then. The one who was on the lathe worked well to get his job done. Still needs a bit of work at cleaning up. He did clean up a bit, and he did get the vacuum out, so I'm wondering actually, I think he only vacuumed this top part and not around the bottom. Tools left out. Shield was on the floor. Anyway, the other 2 helped with. Many years ago, I had a builder who said to me, and he was one of the guys who does the work placements for us, and he gave me a call up and he said, I'm removing some cedar windows from a house, replacing with aluminium ones. Do you want them? I said, sure. So I was on my way to work at the time and to see him about the student. And I got there I had the van at that stage, and we stacked the van with these giant, the doors to go in and out of the building. So we finally got around to, thanks to my other staff member, pulling those apart. You can see some of the window sections here and here. We got some of the glass removed, and that's in the storeroom. But down here, all of that there, Western red cedar, and those ones there are some, I think, Sydney bluegum. They were like the bottom plates for the doorways and that, so they're a really nice, dense, heavy hardwood. But they're all nice big sections. So this is what a nice, really nice, as soon as we get the mission brown paint off it. But Western red cedar, this stuff is really good for exterior projects. It's incredibly light. This stuff's, the hardwood's nice and heavy, but you can see the nice deep colour. Hopefully, this is a deep red to me. I don't know what it's like in the camera. But again, some nice big solid pieces. We cut them back. There's going to be hopefully some good projects from this stuff. Kind of leaving it like this. I've got to come into work tomorrow because I didn't get to do yesterday. So check that the room's locked before I'm leaving. Everybody else is gone, or from my faculty, probably leave the school. But I'm pretty sure that my other teacher, nope. I thought he'd run around and locked everything up. I know he went over to the trade school and he locked up the trade school, but let's make sure this was the storeroom that had all the windows stashed in it. This is much better. We're going to walk through it. This is where all the windows were, and they came like right out here. We had a really just narrow walkway. We've got some plywood that we've got to get stored. A plywood rack. Fix it up. But we haven't been able to get to these steel cabinets in ages, which is probably why there's not much in them, but I'll have a better look tomorrow. Check the other storeroom. Here's some of the glass that we rescued from those windows. We'll end up getting those into this rack here. I'll get these things out of the way, which were some glass display cabinets which got delivered and they got damaged down the front, so the office asked if I wanted them. I'll show you the stuff in the construction room just before I leave. That's right down near the car. Year 11/12 Bryn Hughes was one who's just about finished his assessment. A couple more just working along there. There's one there who's getting pretty close. My big thing is that I was beginning to install a giant industrial fan in here. Not the bracket half up. It's one of the things that I need to come in and finish tomorrow. Just those little projects that you don't find time to do. Like I was doing that during the class and then I was busy for the rest of the day, especially with the timetable. Be one of my jobs for tomorrow.
December 17, now kind of officially my last day of school. So yesterday was the last day for all the kids and a lot of staff. I'm going in because I missed out on doing our faculty plan because of my injections. I think I said that yesterday. I'm not the only one who's going to be at school. Apparently the PE faculty have just decided, let's just do our planning day, the last day. Nobody else will be here, or there won't be many people here. The senior exec are at the school, and I believe some are even going to be in there tomorrow. Whether or not they really need to be, they've just decided that there's work they want to do, there's work they need to do. It's going to be easier to do it when there's no one around. I'm still working on the timetable. I was trying to work on it and trying to see if I could get everything roomed yesterday before leaving, and then I remembered I needed to get to the shops. I packed up and left, and I was like, rather than trying to rush it, come in today, finish putting as much as I can, like as many rooms to classes as possible, and then I'll look through and see if I can tidy them up. The issue I talked about yesterday with the new staff member coming in, I discussed that with the principal and with the head teacher who's going, because she's only going on secondment for a year. But I spoke with her, spoke with the principal. I basically showed him, because he came in to talk to me. So I showed him on the timetable, this is what will happen if we do exactly what's being asked. This is how I think I can fix it with the least amount of disruption. And the way we went with was, I tried to move any clashes that were possible within the timetable. So, for instance, the Year 7 class I said I could probably move because they can go anywhere, and that took a couple of moves, but I got it done. A team teaching one, which could basically line up with one of the other classes, turned out there was a spare spot on their timetable where that class was being run. That one worked. So that left them with 8 periods of the 2 senior classes. Now, having removed those 2 classes for that person, there was one more, which is something that they're going to figure out with the class next year. But for the other staff member, he clashed 3 times with the Year 10. So where his senior subject clashed with the Year 10, the senior subject went across to the relieving head teacher. And to balance it out, still 3 more periods that were clashing for the new head teacher, and they went back to this other teacher because they originally lined up on their timetables, because it was their subject. And so they've now basically got a 5-3 split, so they have the class that they wanted for 5 periods, the other 3 periods the other teacher teaches them, who is a trained teacher for it. And he has 5 periods of the subject that he got given, and 3 of them were over there. It worked out. That's the main thing. So I began rooming, going through all of them. Turns out the science faculty have done really well with getting electives and subjects up. They now have a real hard time being roomed. They have 6 science labs, one of which is a dry lab, so it's not really a lab for doing experiments in. They have 7 staff, and there's points in the timetable when all 7 staff are on and you've only got 6 labs. I had the similar issue this year when we had Year 7 classes broken up into 5 classes, and all 5 classes were on, and I was also on a senior class, and another 2 staff who had seniors were also on. So we had 8 staff on trying to be roomed around my faculty. It was a nightmare. But it's the job I've signed up for, isn't it? So I'll go in there, I'll continue just putting, at the moment I'm doing PE's timetable because they give me their timetable, and they indicate off the timetable I've given them when they would like to have a theory lesson for their subjects. And so I need to look through the school after basically rooming every other faculty and try and find them a room for their theory lessons. And the only time that becomes difficult is if all of them decide to do theory at the same time with the same year group. I try and keep them down in the same block as their staff room if at all possible. But it's also nice if, one thing I try and do is if they've got a class that has multiple lessons, I try and keep them in the same room each time. It's not easy. I haven't even been able to do that for some of the English staff who were sort of there's a lot of English staff and not enough English rooms, and so they'll be in there, and then they'll have 1 or 2 periods where they won't fit in that room because there's another English class on. One way I can get around it a little bit with years 7 to 9 is they have a program called Education Perfect, which is an online, I believe it's just typing and reading. If I'm going through and there's this one period where they can't fit into the same room, that's the one I put them into a computer room. So that's one saving grace. I've already come across a class or 2 which they had 2 periods where they didn't line up, and so I just had to say, well, that one I can put into the computer room because this one has another room that's close by. And it's a very big puzzle. If you like puzzles, it's an interesting job. I do tend to like puzzles, so it's interesting. It's not easy. This is kind of why I haven't been able to get a good 2IC on, because once you get into doing the process, it's really not a team. It's not something we've done as a team, because just say you're sitting there thinking of something if you're trying to work on the same screen, and the software is not a concurrent type software where you can have more than one person working on it. That'd actually be disastrous. Like I am now, I can picture some of the problems I've already seen, and I'm kind of thinking them through in my head. It'd be good to have another person who learns the process for when I'm not there. Finished at school. They kicked us out so that we could turn the alarms on at 2:45, so all the staff had to just leave. I've come into Bunnings to get some more of those posts and the panels. And the Bunnings Minchinbury's got a good selection, so that's where the panels were. The posts were down there. But all the hardware for the, like all the brackets and stuff, right down the other end of the store, so you go for a walk. Haven't got any brackets, so I rang one of the other stores. It's on the way home. They've got it. Now I've got a sun shower happening in the building. Beautiful summer shower. There's an auto parts store just over here. So I'm going to go over there and get my little fuse for the trailer connection, so I can use the trailer tomorrow with lights. And then I've got to go to Valley Heights to get all the brackets for that stuff, because they had they had white, silver and brown. I need black. That's hot. See? Long drive. Rain stopped, now it's muggy. Got a little pack of these. I'm going to go to some of the 15s as well. They're the most common ones that are sitting in the fuse box in the front of the truck. There's only one of these in the front, but the other one, the one blue, was the one for the trailer hitch. I'll put that in when I get back to the house. Had a few emails and messages about the timetable, some while I was still at work, so I was fixing things. A couple of room changes, which were fair enough, ones where people have shared a class, but they'd like to stay in their own home room if they can, make the class move. I was rooming them, I was just going, there's that class, boom, 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 same room all the way through. And then you find out that a different teacher has them for 2 periods, so move them back into their room. A couple of queries about particular rooming issues, and a couple of congratulations. Won't be the final version. I just know it. There's going to be some requests come through and some queries and changes and that sort of stuff. So, anyway, I'm going to switch that part of my head off for a while. Got to pick up that carport first thing tomorrow. That's why I got to make sure I got the trailer running all right. Friday morning, I'm heading down to get the carport. My wife rang them, or they rang my wife during the week and said they've located it, they've got it ready, it's ready for collection, and she said I'd be there Thursday or Friday, and they said that's fine. So it's Friday morning. It's about 10 to 9 now. I'm about 10 minutes away from the place, so hopefully it's all ready to go. It might be out in that space like where I saw the ones last time, and they can just pick it up, pop it on the trailer, I can tie it down, I can head off. Fingers crossed. Place is a hell of a lot busier today. Trucks and people everywhere. And where I parked last time is full of pallets, so I can't stop. So apparently I'm waiting for a guy to come out and help me out. For those wondering about packing codes and crates, you'll notice this is a John Deere tractor that's been shipped in. This is like a major shipping thing. And the pallet says it's heat treated. This is the international code that they have to have on accredited pallets. This it comes from the US. This is, I think, the manufacturer number of the pallet, which you'll see the same stamp all over it. So I've just handed off my paperwork to the forklift bloke. He sort of manages the pickup area, obviously, or one of the pickup areas. But last week I was parked over there, and now there's just trucks and there's a whole stack of pallets sitting in the actual pickup parking spaces. Even just along here in front of me, like the trucks are parked where they can't really park because there's pallets inside the pickup zones. There's a truck just in front of me. He's in a pickup zone, I'm in a no parking zone. But the place is just that busy, I don't think they care. So they just want to get things through, and like trucks are just coming through and through. Like you saw just before I walked over, massive semi and another big flatbed right behind it. Just walking in behind the, like coming out of the factory, or the warehouse I mean. Anyway, it's hot and muggy. So I've got this on, it's nice and secure. It's up above the tray at the track back, that's the main thing. So there we go. Can feel the weight on the trailer now. I think this will be a just a take it easy run. It's strapped on nice and tight, but I think the fact that it's up like this is going to cause a bit of drag, and the plastic that's flapping around on the front of it. There's something on the freeway that's slowed everything down at the moment, because I've just slowed down to 20 k's. Guy was telling me, like they rang him and he said he felt bad because I travelled down from the mountains to pick this up, and it wasn't ready. It was still basically on the truck, and they found it on the Monday on the side of the loading. Like it had just been unloaded on the loading dock there. But got it now, so I'm going to have to unload it piece by piece just to get it off the trailer.